it's way too easy to go, hey, Mike Trout went 24 or 5 or whatever the pick was. Like, he should have gone 1. Like if you look at Dustin Ackley versus Mike Trout, it's like, oh, what a terrible pick for the Mariners. But at the time, I think everybody would have most teams would have taken Dustin Ackley too. So you have to look at it in that context. But I think kind of what DJ was alluding to, I don't think scouting directors get looked at that way. It's just either your pick was good or it wasn't good, not it made sense at the time.
That's it. It's the outcome.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They don't want to talk about process and they don't want to talk about strategy. You just get evaluated on the outcome. That's it.
And you talked about with your top prospect rankings, the same way we put our draft board together. That's kind of what the envisioning is. Like, this is something to be held accountable, not the accounting of the draft and the fact that this guy didn't go here, this guy didn't go there. Here's where the talent was. The Orioles walked away with 4 top 20 players.
Right.
That was a huge haul. They did a great job. And then, as I always tell DJ, just blame it on PD in the end. Like, if nothing else, you drafted the right guys. They screwed them up.
Well, hey, Jim, you touched on a couple of things a second ago, and Shooter's alluding to something right now. I wanted to get into this. The post-draft evaluation, before we move into the 24 draft, when we look at the post-draft evaluation, everybody wants to opine on, did this team do a good job? Did that team do a good job? That's probably the most frustrating thing that a scouting director has to deal with after the draft, because we all know that 5 years from now the order will have been wrong, right? But yet everybody wants to throw out either this team did a really good job, that team did a bad job. I mean, 5 years in a row, I apparently did a really good job. Now I'm not there anymore. So, it really bugged me. It really bugged me about how teams get lauded for doing great things, or they get, people say that they didn't do a really good job. And then watching how those players, and this is the point of my question here or statement, players moving into a MLB top 100, players moving up into a prospect list, and where they mocked and how they were evaluated, how the team's draft was evaluated, then lends itself to these players moving up the board. So you're going to get guys like Ed Howard, who just didn't really do anything, make it into a major league top 100. And you're going to get a guy like Anthony Volpe, who took multiple years to get there, or maybe Evan Carter, the Rangers, who was a surprise pick, or a guy like Jackson Merrill, who was a relative unknown for the Padres, takes him a minute to get up there. So how do you come to terms with that, the relationship between where the player was picked and then how they move into MLB top 100?
Yeah, there's 2 things there. One, I agree with you. Like, it's like mock drafts. Everybody wants immediate analysis. How did teams do in the draft? And we know you aren't going to really know how well a team drafted till at least 5 years down the road. It's just simple truth. But people still want to know. And I think back my early years of Baseball America, we used to do annual draft report cards, which I think they still do. And it had a bunch of categories like best hitter, best power, best fastball. I was doing these, I think, going back to 1989. At a time when there wasn't even a lot of this information available.